In 2025-2026, horror games are getting brutal. These 20 titles don't just scare you, they bring the real horror. These aren't your typical jump scares. Midnight here, let's get started. Let's jump to number 20. Psycho Dead puts you in control of A.I.L.A, a woman stuck inside this high-security research lab that's, totally lost it. And it's not some dusty, forgotten place either. The lights are still flickering, machines are breaking down all around you. A.I.L.A isn't your hide and scream type character though. She's got psychic abilities that can, flip the fight in your favor, sometimes. You can slam enemies back with a force blast, pull stuff out of the air with telekinesis, crush creatures from the inside, or pop up a shield to block an incoming hit. And if things get hairy, you've still got a pistol, shotgun, even a flare gun for when you just want something to stay down. Gameplay-wise, it's a third-person survival horror setup, kind of like Resident Evil, but then it throws in telekinetic combat that feels closer to Control. That mix keeps it feeling familiar, but, still surprising. What I really like is how Psycho Dead blends that tense, old-school horror vibe with powers that make you feel, at least for a second, like you've got the upper hand. It's got some of Resident Evil's dread, Dead Space's sci-fi creepiness, and its own weird psychic twist that makes you keep thinking, okay, what's it gonna throw at me next?
Oh no, it's coming for me!
You might think you know what Silent Hill is, foggy streets, twisted memories, but, Silent Hill F kind of flips that on its head. Set in rural 1960s Japan, you're stepping into the shoes of Hinako Shimizu, a teen stuck in the eerie town of Ebisugaoka after it's swallowed by fog. And something way darker. What feels familiar, like walking into a foggy streets, meet something totally fresh here. It's psychological horror that's not just wandering through creepy stuff. You're solving puzzles, fighting otherworldly creatures, and making choices that pull you toward beauty or madness. And this isn't just another sequel, it's written by Ryukishi 07. Yeah, the visual novel guy behind Higurashi, directed by Al Yang, with sound design from Akira Yamaoka. The whole thing mixes supernatural tension with real emotional weight. Think horror that hits you in the heart as much as it messes with your head. Gameplay leans more into action this time, so expect tighter, more intense monster fights and some brutal melee moments. Still, it keeps that slow burn dread the series is known for. All wrapped up in Unreal Engine 5 visuals that nail the fog, the silence, and the mood. So yeah, mark it down, Silent Hill. Drops September 25th, 2025 on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series XS. It's a standalone story, so even if you've never touched the older games, you can dive right in. Let's talk about the Twilight Project. So picture this, you're just a tourist, wandering through the forests of Thailand, and somehow, you get lost and end up in this creepy, forgotten village that's totally cut off from everything. Sounds cool, right? Well, it's all fun until night falls and things get seriously wrong. During the day, you get to explore, poke around, and piece together clues about the village's past. But once darkness hits, the whole world flips. You're suddenly hunted by creatures straight out of some shadow dimension. It's like your nightmares and reality are mashed into one twisted trip. You're not totally defenseless though. Setting traps and carving out safe zones is your best bet. Because when night comes, it's full-on survival mode. Supplies are limited, and yeah, you'll have to solve puzzles to uncover the dark history before it catches you. The vibe? It's pure psychological horror meets Southeast Asian folklore. Imagine the dread of Resident Evil 4 mixed with the eerie quiet of Silent Hill, but with a Thai spirit twist. We don't know all the details yet, like the exact release date, but it's set for 2026 on PC, Xbox, and PS5. If you're into atmospheric horror with a supernatural edge and creepy legends, the Twilight Project might just be your next obsession. Number 17. Code Violet, a third-person action horror shooter that throws sci-fi, dinosaurs, and conspiracy all into one intense package. You play as Violet Sinclair, plucked from the past and dropped into the A.I.L.A. bioengineering complex. Now you've got to survive. The lab is overrun by genetically modified beasts, some of them straight-up dinosaurs, so survival is part stealth, part shootouts. You're juggling limited ammo, quick thinking, and figuring out who can be trusted. It's like Dino Crisis crashed into a sci-fi thriller, with high-stakes action and tense chase scenes. Visually, this game is doing the heavy lifting. Unreal visuals, ray-traced lighting, creepy neon-lit corridors, and even 3D audio that makes every roar and echo feel like it's right behind you. And if you grab the deluxe edition, you'll also get fun extra gear like funky pinup outfits and bonus weapons. One thing's interesting, they're skipping PC entirely. The devs say they want to protect the actors and keep the characters' image safe. Some folks are skeptical, but it's a move that definitely sets them apart. Mark your calendar. Code Violet hits PS5 on November 14th, 2025. If you're into heart-pounding sci-fi horror with eggshell-tight survival, this one's worth keeping an eye on.
Function. Please close shutters manually. Warning, large biological life form nearby.
Number 16. God Save Birmingham. You wake up as the last person standing in 14th century Birmingham, a town turned graveyard by the undead. No fancy weapons here. Just whatever you can scavenge. Pitchforks, old axes, barricades made on the fly. Instead of blasting zombies, God Save Birmingham turns survival into a whole strategy game. You scavenge for water, bread, cheese, yes, medieval cheese. You're constantly juggling hunger, thirst, exhaustion, even a growing sense of panic. Everything counts and every step could be a mistake. And because it's set way back in history, all the everyday stuff is medieval accurate. Turnips, taverns, churches, makes it feel authentic. But the coolest part? Physics rules here. Zombies trip over fences you set, doors break, ladders fall. You can stack furniture to block the undead or send a table crashing down just right. It's smart survival, not just run and gun. Blend that gritty tension with a slow-burning atmosphere, and you get something that feels like Resident Evil 4 meets Project Zomboid, but medieval. Launching early access on PCs with a full sandbox version to drop later on consoles. And yes, the full town will be ready eventually, along with a story mode that digs deep into what happened in this doomed city. Number 15, State of Decay 3 is not just another sequel. It's a survival game reboot built for scale and strategy. This time you're dropped into a massive shared open world crafted in Unreal Engine 5. Up to 4 players can build, scavenge, and rebuild together. And what you do stays there, even when you log off. The game world feels wild and unforgiving. We're seeing hints of infected wildlife like zombie deer and wolves, and environments that could test your wits as well as your gear. Everything seems designed to make every foraging trip feel risky and alive again. Combat has taken a noticeable step up. Animations feel weighty, zombies react realistically, and the gore is intense, with visceral dismemberment elevating every encounter. It's survival horror with cinematic punch. Co-op finally feels fair. Thanks to shared world tech inspired by Grounded 2, there's no more host tethering. Your friends can hop in or out, explore separately, and still contribute to your community. Plus, losing a survivor hits harder this time. Permadeath isn't just a mechanic, it's part of the story, with memorials and narrative ripples that affect your group's morale. No official release date yet, but the studio has wrapped up support for the last game and is now fully focused on this one. Odds are early 2026 looks like prime launch territory. If you loved building survivor stories in State of Decay 2 but felt limited and wanted more challenge and legacy, this third entry could be everything you've wanted and then some. Number 14. Lunar Eclipse throws you into the shoes of A.I.L.A, a lone survivor trying to make sense of a world that's gone totally dark. This game isn't about, endless combat or non-stop action. It's more about exploring and solving your way out. You're crawling through abandoned rooms, squeezing under debris, and making your way through tight spots. And every step is dripping with atmosphere. It's that slow burn survival horror with puzzles, not the jump scare stuff. Puzzles are the core of this game, like escape room challenges that really make you think. Combat's there, but it's minimal and raw. You've only got a kitchen knife, so even the simplest zombie can feel like a legit threat. It's close quarter stuff that keeps you sharp. Right now it's in early access on PC. The devs are getting feedback from players and plan to add new areas, outfits, and more tools for A.I.L.A. The reviews so far? Really solid, and the vibe? Yeah, it's tense and sticky in the best way. If you're into moody, thoughtful horror where every corner might hide a clue, Lunar Eclipse is shaping up to be something you'll want to keep an eye on. Number 13. The Sinking City 2 takes place in a 1920s Arkham flooded by strange supernatural waters, turning familiar streets into nightmare traps. Now built with Unreal Engine 5, the game opens up a bigger, more immersive world where rotted mansions, flooded markets, and broken hospitals shift with the rising tide. This time, survival horror is at the core. Combat's revamped. Your arsenal includes era-specific firearms and melee weapons. Ammo is limited, so precision matters. Some enemies have weak points you can exploit, and wounds show up visually. No health bars here. The investigation elements you loved aren't gone. They've just taken a back seat. Clue hunting and puzzles are optional, giving you deeper lore and bonus gear. But you can keep moving forward even if you skip them. Arkham is now semi-open, meaning you can explore by foot or boat, backtrack into hidden areas, and watch how the environment changes over time. Locked doors open, water levels shift, every trip back can feel new. Behind the scenes, Frogwares just launched a Kickstarter to help fund this larger, more complex take on horror survival. The campaign supports ongoing development and helps stabilize the team working from Ukraine under difficult conditions. The Sinking City 2 is set to land on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series XS in 2025. It looks bolder, darker, and more intense, a true full-on dive into Lovecraftian dread. Number 12, She's Leaving, is set in a cold, snowy corner of Haywood. And you're Charles Dalton, a blood spatter analyst dragged into a mystery that reeks of dark secrets. Your expertise isn't just decoration. You're piecing together disappearances using forensic science, tracing drops of blood through dimly lit halls, creaking Tudor staircases, and steam-filled corridors at the docks. You've got a taser, but don't think that makes you tough. It's more like a polite warning. Running or hiding might save you. Deciding when to fight or flee is more about brains than brute strength. It's tense and grounded. You feel every heartbeat in this place. Environment-wise, this mansion is its own character. Foghorns echo outside, glare from old portraits flickers in candlelight, and everything feels handcrafted to hint at stories untold. It's coming to PC in summer 2025, early access on Steam. And yeah, they're planning to expand it over time. New tools, more environments, maybe twists you can't spot yet. If you're into horror that's dressed up like a mystery, no grand jump scares, just quiet dread and real detective work, She's Leaving is shaping up to be exactly that. Number 11, Chronos, The New Dawn, is like a third-person survival horror game from the folks who made the Silent Hill 2 remake. You play as the Traveler, who's part of this mysterious group called the Collective. The world's been, totally wrecked by this massive event called the Change that turned most people into these terrifying monsters called orphans. The story jumps back and forth between a grim future and 1980s Poland, where you're trying to rescue key people to stop the disaster before it even happens. It's kind of like time travel meets survival horror, which feels pretty fresh. One thing that's really cool about Chronos is the merge system. Enemies can absorb other creatures to get stronger and way more dangerous, so you gotta be smart and burn bodies fast to stop that from happening. Combat mixes up melee and guns, like pistols and shotguns, so it's not just about running and shooting. There's some strategy to it, which I think makes it way more tense. The game pulls inspiration from classics like Dead Space, Resident Evil, and Bloodborne, but with a sci-fi twist and some serious body horror vibes. Think The Thing. The atmosphere is super dark and eerie, made even better with Unreal Engine 5 visuals that make everything look really real and creepy. Right now, Chronos The New Dawn is in early access on PC, and the devs are adding new content as they go. It's already getting solid feedback for its tense vibe and deep story. So, if you're into horror games with solid storytelling, intense survival gameplay, and a sci-fi edge, this one's definitely worth checking out.
Right?
This is Solace.
What are you doing?
Preserving. So, the human race is an anomaly to you.
Oh, yes.
The perfect one.
I Am Ripper drops you into 1988 in a small harbor town in northwest England, a once busy industrial place now running on fumes. But the town has bigger problems. A brutal serial killer is out there, and fear has settled in like a permanent fog. It's from White Paper Games, the team behind Ether One, The Occupation, and Dahlia View. And like their earlier work, it's all about the story. Every decision matters. Even a tiny choice, something you might think is nothing, can shift the entire investigation or seal a character's fate. The gameplay is slow and deliberate, almost cinematic. You're not just clicking prompts, you're doing things. Examining a body, searching a cluttered desk. Even something as grim as cutting stitches is fully interactive, and it makes you feel the weight of what you're doing. Visually, it nails the late 80s industrial atmosphere. Rust, rain, dim streetlights. Every scene feels drenched in that mood. And the narrative doesn't sit still either. You'll jump between different perspectives, seeing the case from angles you didn't expect, and that forces you to rethink what you know. No release date yet, and only PC is confirmed so far. But with its layered tension, branching paths, and grounded, hands-on approach, I Am Ripper is looking like one of the most intriguing narrative thrillers on the horizon. Shark Dentist puts you right in an underwater clinic where you're a dentist, but not for your everyday patients. You're working on the teeth of massive predatory sharks. The catch? They're only lightly sedated, which means one wrong move could wake them up. And that's seriously bad news for you. The gameplay is an interesting mix of roguelike and medical simulation. You'll need to constantly monitor vital signs like heart rate, oxygen levels, and anesthesia dosage while carefully performing dental procedures, filling cavities, cleaning infections, and more. Each session throws new challenges your way, so staying focused and adapting quickly is key. The atmosphere adds to the tension with cramped, dark spaces and unsettling underwater sounds that keep you on edge. Unlike typical jump-scare horror games, Shark Dentist builds a steady psychological pressure, making every moment feel tense and risky. There's no official release date yet, but you can wishlist Shark Dentist on Steam for PC. If you're looking for a horror experience that's fresh, challenging, and a bit out of the ordinary, this one definitely deserves your attention. Total Chaos drops you into Fort Oasis, this rundown mining colony stranded out in the middle of nowhere. You're a Coast Guardsman stuck on the island with only a mysterious voice on your radio to keep you company. But as you dig deeper into the place, reality starts to warp. Hallucinations creep in and you can't really tell what's real anymore. This game is a psychological horror FPS that's all about building atmosphere and tension instead of cheap jump scares. You'll get into some brutal melee combat, have to carefully manage your limited resources, and face off against some seriously creepy creatures lurking in the shadows. Built on Unreal Engine 5, the visuals are dark and detailed, really pulling you into that eerie vibe. What's cool is that Total Chaos actually started as a mod for Doom 2 back in 2018. Now it's a full standalone game that really leans into immersive horror and slow burn suspense. It's coming out in late 2025 on PC via Steam, with VR support coming soon after. And if you want to taste early, there's already a demo available. If you're into horror games that focus on mood, story, and real tension, this one's definitely worth adding to your wishlist. Jurassic Park Survival takes you back to Isla Nublar, right after the chaos from the iconic 1993 film. You step into the shoes of Dr. Maya Joshi, an InGen scientist stranded on the island where predatory dinosaurs rule with deadly instincts. Your mission is clear but deadly: survive by any means necessary. This first-person action-adventure game demands quick thinking and sharp reflexes. You'll use tools like flares and various environmental objects to distract dangerous dinosaurs and carve your path to safety. Stealth and parkour become essential as you navigate famous landmarks like the park's gates and visitor center, always staying one step ahead of relentless predators. Developed by Saber Interactive, Jurassic Park Survival delivers stunning visuals powered by cutting-edge technology. The dinosaurs' realistic behavior and aggressive AI create a tense and immersive survival horror atmosphere that constantly keeps you on edge. Scheduled for release in late 2025 on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and X, the game already offers a demo for those eager to experience the island's dangers early. Be sure to wishlist it now so you don't miss out on one of the most exciting survival adventures coming this year. A.I.L.A is a first-person psychological horror game set in the near future, 2035. You step into the shoes of Samuel, the only beta tester for this groundbreaking AI called A.I.L.A, which is designed to tailor horror experiences based on your deepest, darkest fears. The game throws you into all sorts of intense and unpredictable scenarios, escaping from a ritualistic cult, facing off against medieval knights, or battling hordes of the undead. What's really cool is that each session adapts to explore your personal fears and weaknesses, so every playthrough feels unique and challenging in its own way. Developed by Pulsatrix Studios using Unreal Engine 5, the game features stunningly realistic graphics, powered by advanced tech like lumen lighting and metahuman character models. The atmosphere is incredibly immersive, making you feel like you're actually inside this unsettling, dangerous world. A.I.L.A is scheduled to release in 2025 on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series XS. There's already a demo available on Steam if you're curious to jump in early and experience the psychological tension firsthand. If you're into horror games that mess with your mind and offer fresh scares every time, A.I.L.A is definitely one to keep an eye on. Alien Rogue Incursion Evolved Edition drops you right into the tense and deadly world of the Alien universe. You play as Zula Hendrix, a rogue colonial marine sent to investigate a black site on a remote planet called Purdon. What seems like a routine mission quickly spirals into a desperate fight for survival as you face off against deadly xenomorphs and uncover sinister secrets hidden deep within the Gemini Exoplanet Solutions facility. Built on Unreal Engine 5, the game delivers stunning visuals and immersive environments that really pull you in. You'll need to rely on stealth, combat skills, and smart resource management to survive. The xenomorphs come in different forms, each requiring different tactics to outsmart or outfight. Developed by Survios, this Evolved Edition is a non-VR version of the original VR game, bringing the intense survival horror experience to PC and PlayStation 5 players. It's set to release on September 30th, 2025. There's a standard edition, plus a deluxe edition with extras like exclusive skins and a digital art book. If you're into the Alien franchise and love survival horror that keeps you on edge, Alien Rogue Incursion Evolved Edition is definitely one to watch. Little Nightmares 3 is the next eerie chapter in the puzzle platform horror series, set to release on October 10, 2025. Developed by Supermassive Games, this time you play as two new characters, Lo and Alone, who explore a twisted world called the Nowhere, filled with creepy creatures and dark puzzles. One big change this time is the addition of online co-op, so you can team up with a friend to face the nightmare together. If you're playing solo, the AI takes control of the other character. Lo has a bow, Alone wields a wrench, and each brings different skills that add some interesting gameplay dynamics. The game takes you through some seriously unsettling locations: a haunted carnival, a creepy necropolis, and even a sinister candy factory. The visuals have stepped up too, powered by Unreal Engine 5, making everything look more detailed and atmospheric than ever. Pre-orders are live now on Steam, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch, with different editions including a deluxe edition packed with exclusive costumes and an expansion pass. If you're into atmospheric horror games with a good mix of puzzles and creepy vibes, Little Nightmares 3 is definitely worth keeping an eye on. A.I.L.A is shaping up to be one of the darkest and most brutal first-person survival horror games out there. Developed by Team Clout, the same team behind Longlegs and Welcome to Derry, this game throws you into a nightmare pulled straight from your worst fears. You play as a lone survivor trapped inside a crumbling fortress somewhere in Eastern Europe. The place is crawling with twisted, relentless monsters that hunt you without mercy. Combat is raw and visceral, featuring a dismemberment system that adds a brutal edge to every encounter. Think Resident Evil meets The Thing, but with a gritty, grounded vibe. What really sets A.I.L.A apart is how it builds tension. This isn't about cheap jump scares, it's about isolation, paranoia, and that creeping dread that never lets up. The storytelling pulls you deeper into a twisted world where every moment feels personal and terrifying. It's coming to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and PC, though there's no official release date yet. The game is deep in development and definitely one to watch if you're into horror that's as intense as it is immersive. The Blood of Dawnwalker is an upcoming dark fantasy, open-world action RPG developed by Rebel Wolves, a studio founded by former CD Projekt Red veterans, including the director of The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt. Set in the fictional kingdom of Vale Sangora, inspired by Eastern European culture, the land is torn apart by war and plague. You play as Cohen, a young man transformed into a Dawnwalker, caught between day and night, who must save his family within 30 days while facing off against ancient vampires led by the ruthless Brentsis. These vampires have imposed a brutal blood tax on humanity. A key feature is the blood hunger mechanic. Cohen must consume blood to maintain control. If he fails, the hunger takes over, risking loss of control and attacking innocent NPCs. The world is vast and detailed, featuring forests, swamps, medieval towns, and ancient ruins. Combat combines fast-paced melee and supernatural powers with stealth and story choices shaping your journey. Powered by Unreal Engine 5, The Blood of Dawnwalker promises immersive gameplay and stunning visuals for fans of dark fantasy and vampire lore. The game is scheduled to release in 2026 for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, S, and PC. Resident Evil 9 Requiem is one of the most anticipated entries in Capcom's legendary survival horror franchise. Officially unveiled during Summer Game Fest 2025, the game introduces Grace Ashcroft, an FBI technical analyst pulled into a chilling mystery tied to her traumatic past. Set approximately 30 years after the Raccoon City incident, the story centers on Grace's investigation into the eerie Wrenwood Hotel, where she seeks answers about her mother's mysterious death. This installment marks a return to the series' survival horror roots, promising intense monster chases that keep players on the edge of their seats, intricate puzzles that challenge problem-solving skills, and a unique gameplay mechanic that allows seamless switching between first- and third-person perspectives. Powered by Capcom's RE engine, Resident Evil 9 Requiem delivers stunning, ray-traced visuals that create an immersive and unsettling atmosphere, enhancing the horror experience. While much of the plot remains under wraps, the initial reveal trailer has already generated significant excitement, hinting at a darker, more atmospheric direction for the franchise's future. Fans can expect a deeper dive into psychological horror, blending classic survival elements with modern gameplay innovations. Resident Evil 9 Requiem is scheduled for release on February 27, 2026, for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X.S, and PC. That's our roundup of the most anticipated upcoming horror games. From spine-chilling atmospheres to heart-pounding encounters, each one brings its own brand of terror. Keep your flashlight close, because the dark is only getting darker. Midnight out.